one guy gets a little bit of a jump, then he's going to win. If the other guy gets a little jump, he's going to win. So when it's real close, even though you see one guy, it looked like Greg won easy there. That was not an easy win by any stretch of the imagination. And again, when two guys are so close, it can go either way. Now we got Corey Stone and Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson from Bridgewater.
Oh,
winner right
good
there.
comeback.
Chris Johnson.
I think the difference in Chris Johnson there, that time he kept great hand position the whole match. Even though it looked like he was starting to lose a bit, he still kept great hand position.
Yeah, and hand position's everything. Sometimes, you know, people get excited and they're pulling, and they don't realize they're losing their hand the whole time.
Right.
They're pulling right inside the other guy's hand, and your hand strength and your wrist strength is everything in the sport. You know, if you don't possess hand strength and wrist strength, you're not going to go very far. Very few people I see, you know, you can win some matches and that, but overall you've got to have the hand, the wrist to be able to hold yourself in there. Because no matter how strong your arm is, if you don't have the wrist, it's, you know, it's like the old how strong is a chain, it's only as strong as its weakest link. And in this case, you know, if your wrist is the weakest link, then it's going to let go and the chain breaks and down you go. So I mean, it's one of these things you got to work on, and your wrist is a really tough thing to really strengthen up. It takes a long time to strengthen up. Everybody's got their different opinions on how to do it, and you know, like doing wrist curls and stuff like that. And you've got to be careful doing that too, that you don't overdo it. You know, when you're working your wrists, you don't want to keep working, because then overworking leads to medical problems, basically, by doing it too much. You've got to do it, something like your wrist in moderation. That's, you know, so if you overdo it, then you're going to be further behind, because now you've got to come back from an injury. Right there we saw Perry taking down Kenny Snow. Now we're going to be going on the A side. So you're up there now.
Oh, here we go.
Randy Snow and Scott McGinnis.
Scott gets to try everything he's learned now against Randy Snow. Randy's just new to the sport, but he's one powerhouse, especially when it comes to the left hand. This could be very interesting. Scott wants this one awful bad. We'll see how he makes out. These guys are both big guys. Going around the 280, I think Scott weighed, and Randy's around 340, I believe, somewhere's around there. So, there's no lack of weight. Yeah. Randy get the jump on, but Scott's hanging in there tough. Scott's staying nice and tight is where you want to be. And Scott took the win.
Winner, Scott McGinnis. Give these boys a hand.
To win like that. You got to keep everything, your wits about you when you're in these tough matches. You can't just try to take and make a big move, because a lot of times you try to make a big move and you kind of lose everything because you let up somewhere in between. The whole time you're arm wrestling, you got to think about as if you were pulling with a rope. If you let up the least little bit, that rope's gone. So you need to concentrate all the time.
Trevor
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Good win. Smart pulling.
Oh, thanks. Slowly but surely.
Just saying how you wheeled around there and you pinned him, but you've got to really keep your wits about you to be able to do that, because if you let up the least little bit, you're going to lose it, because the other guy's pulling for everything he's got. So if you let up a little bit.
Yeah, and he's a
tough guy.
He is really strong.
Yeah. Right now we got Mark Stevens and Trevor Senepaw. You see Mark's left hand, just how overpowering it is over Trevor.
Winner, Mark Stevens.
Yeah, he's got that wrist that just is unbelievable.
Yeah. And once it goes back, then that's pretty well it.
Yeah. Not a lot of guys on this level can deal with Mark's wrist right now.
Yeah.
The only person that seems to be able to is Greg Harnish right now.
That's right. Now we're going back in the semifinals, so we're going through the B side now. What happens here is there's two people on the B side and there's one on the A side. So the loser here will take third place, and the winner goes on to meet the person on the A side with no losses. So we're going to flyweight class, and we need Vernon Weatherby out of Shubenacadie and Scott Johnson from Italy Cross. It's all in the timing. These guys met earlier, and Scott came out the winner here. See if Vernon can turn this thing around. So the loser takes third place, and the winner will go on to be Corey Stone in the finals. So Vernon Weatherby's up there on the right-hand side, and I'm sorry, Scott Johnson is on your left-hand side.
Winner here will advance to meet Corey Stone in the finals.
Let's do the smaller gentleman in here.
Oh, right into a hook.
No.
Winner,
Scott
Scott Johnson.
That second hit, that makes a big difference, you know. It's one thing to be able to get in there and get your first hit in, but if you can't recuperate and make that second hit sometimes, it's the difference between winning and losing.
Right.
You have to be able to reload very quickly sometimes. So a lot of times people aren't expecting that second hit so
We're
quick.
Skip the middleweight class.
When you can take and, you know, if you make one hit, the person stops, you wheel around and hit them again.
Chris Scott and
There's
Trevor
the difference between winning and
Senapa.
losing lies a lot of times.
It takes a lot of effort to stop a guy the first time, and then he comes right back and hits you again.
And all you're concentrating on, too, is just holding on now. You stopped him, you've taken his hit, you stopped him. Now all you want to do is be able to hang in there. And bang, if he hits you again, a lot of times you're going down. But if you can stop him that second time, now you're basically back in the game.
Yes.
And you're putting the pressure on him now, because now he's in trouble, because he's just exerted a lot of energy making those two hits. So we've got Chris Scott and Trevor Senapa.
Live or die by your hits, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Is right. See what Chris does. Chris doesn't seem to be pulling that good today. A rough day.
Into the hook. He's hanging tight.
Yeah, he's got to tighten up though. He's too far apart. He's spreading out. Trevor, you see where Trevor's pulling him right to his own corner.
Yeah.
But now you see where Chris tightened right up.
Yeah.
That's been one thing we've been practicing with. Chris has got a great wrist. See, now there's another hit by Trevor. Now Chris just made maybe a big mistake there by spreading himself out, but he tightened back up. Good move again.
Got good hand position.
Yeah, Chris is really making.
Winner right there, Trevor Senapa. Big hand for these guys.
What a great match.
Yeah, you saw 10 moves in that short amount of time. Chris made 9 of them, but the problem was once he took complete control at the end, I think he relaxed and thought, made it.
Yeah.
This is where I want to be, and then he relaxed.
Almost like he needed to catch his breath again, and when he tried to, Trevor hit him.
It's the old thing I mentioned earlier about, you know, you and I are pulling on a rope. If you let up at least a little bit, I'm gone.
That's right.
And that's what happened there. Chris let up a little bit, and Trevor, he was gone. And you just can't let up because the other person's pulling for everything they've got. So if you let up, the other person's gone. And that's why a lot of times you'll see all of a sudden a person smoke through another person. It's not because they're that much overpowering. You just let up that least little bit. So now we got the open class here. These are the top guys in the province. Atlantic Canada, I should say. These guys finished first and second. Atlantic Canadians, Mark finished first and David finished second. So we'll see how this one turns out now. David has beaten Mark before.
Pick your winner here.
So they know each other fairly well. In the last couple tournaments, they've pulled each other quite a few times. Wow.
Got Mark
there.
Wow.
Losing position. David Senapa.
Slip out the losing position.
Yep.
Right off the start, though, he took Mark's wrist out.
Yeah. Well, I knew earlier that when I competed against David there earlier, he had some wrist on him. And to roll Mark out like that was really surprising.
Yeah, he showed a lot right there.
Yeah.
Great win for David, though.
Oh yeah, that's definitely got to boost your confidence to to be able to beat Mark like that. And on the other hand, you got to look, and Mark has been pulling good. Now it's he saw, this is where I made a mistake. I've got to work on this. This is something I've got to work on. So even though you lose, it's kind of a win thing because now you know what to work on, but the National's so close. Oh, there goes Corey Stone.
Corey Stone.
And he drops. Scott Johnson takes third place in left-hand lightweight. And he'll go on to meet Chris Johnson in the finals. They're moving into the left-hand heavyweight. And we're going to be needing...
I think Perry Broom is up.
Perry Broom's coming up, and Randy Snow.
Broom and Randy Snow.
I think Randy beat Perry earlier in the day left-handed
here,
didn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
Here they are back again in the semifinals.
We'll see if Perry learned anything from that earlier match. And like I said, even though you lose, that's where you do all your learning. A lot of times you don't learn much from winning. So, if you take a loss and you go, now I know what to work on.
Yes.
especially if you win easy. You know, you don't learn anything from that. And that's the whole purpose, you know, is to keep learning, because you want to be the best. And the only way to be the best is to lose and find out what your weaknesses are.
Right over the top, off the go.
Well, there's a perfect example. Perry learned from the first one. He couldn't underestimate this guy, that this guy's strong.
I think the first time Perry ran to get into his power. And
you got a guy that size.
A little bit more than Perry was expecting, I think, powerful-wise.
That's right. That's right. So this time, what he wanted to do is he pulled him out, get him away from his power. You can't. So now we've got coming up in the left-hand open, Chris Scott and Trevor Senepaugh.
Left-hand open, Chris Scott, Trevor Senepaugh.
Greg Harnish never pulled left hand today.
No, Greg has been hurting with his left hand and his left arm, so he's opted to stay out. He said even on the island he wasn't feeling that good during the Atlantic Canadian, so he thought, you know, he went and competed there, but he took third in there too, and there was like 16 guys in that class, so I mean, even hurting, he's a formidable opponent.
I suppose in the national.
Chris has got him going this time.
Here to cheer these guys on.
No, there's not much holding on there. These guys are going to slip out.
What a pull.
And they're going to strap him up.
In the straps.
Now the thing about this is, now you saw what Chris did the first time. You know, he got him out. Now he's got to do the same thing again. However, the question is, will Trevor take and do the same thing again?
Well, that's right.
And I mean, that's where a lot of people lose it too, is they think the guy's going to do the exact same move. Most good arm wrestlers, which Trevor is, you'll probably change up somewhat. You'll realize, you know, geez, I made a little bit of a mistake there. I've got to either change my grip or change the way I hit, and to throw the other guy off, because the other guy thinks, oh, this works.
So the subtleties are that important that one little change can mean a winner.
That's why a lot of times you'll see guys fighting over a grip, because just an eighth of an inch makes all the difference in the world. You know, you want to have your hand in a certain position. You want to have the strap in a certain position. You see right there, Trevor's asking to have the strap adjusted. Well, he changed his mind. Sometimes that's not a good thing, because if it doesn't feel comfortable, it makes you hesitate a bit. And hesitation kills. So we'll see. Well, Chris has got to tighten up. Trevor's got him going.
Yeah.
And in the straps.
One elbow foul.
Well, Chris got dinged for an elbow foul in the losing position.
One elbow foul, losing position on Chris Scott. Winner, Trevor Senepaugh.
And Trevor goes on to meet Mark Stevens in the final. Chris takes third place there. It's a tough class, too. You got Mark and Trevor in there. Chris, you know, these are all top left-handed guys.
And now we're down to the finals in every class.
Down to the finals.
Now, aren't we?
So we've got two people left in each class. You got one person on the A side with no losses, one person on the B side with one loss. The person on the B side must be the person on the A side twice. We're starting off in the flyweight class.
Flyweight class.
On the A side is Corey Stone.
Corey Stone.
And on the B side is Scott Johnson.
Scott's going to have to beat Corey twice to take the title here.
So let's see if Corey's learned anything, or I'm sorry, Scott's learned anything from pulling Corey earlier. Like I said, I mean, you saw it there that, you know, people can regroup. It looked like Chris had that match in the bag, but Trevor regrouped. and come on to beat him. You just can't underestimate somebody. No matter how easy a match may seem right before that person can come back. And overconfidence kills also.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big factor. You get up there a little too overconfident, you can end up losing. Well,
winner and champion right there.
Corey took that one fairly easy.
There wasn't much doubt about that.
No, he went through him pretty good there. Scott Johnson took second place, drove up from Bridgewater. Moving in the middleweight
class.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson. B side, Trevor Weatherby. Trevor's going to have to beat Chris twice to take the title.
Now, if you remember the first time, these guys had a bit of a tough go right at the top.
Yeah.
Then Chris kind of reloaded and hit him and took him down. And I know from practice that Trevor, he's a strong guy. We'll see what he does here. I think Trevor actually may try to go into hook with him, although, you know, he's given up a fair bit of weight against him.
Super heavyweight class.
So we'll see what happens between Chris Johnson up there on the right-hand side and Trevor Weatherby. Oh, looks, no.
like Trevor, exact same thing again.
Yeah, he did, and he lost his wrist when he made that hit there, and I said, and Chris stayed in there so nice and tight. That you lose your wrist on somebody sitting in there nice and tight, your chances of doing anything then are pretty slim.
B-side, Trevor Senapaz. Trevor's going to have to beat Mark twice to take
now we're
the
in the
title.
super heavyweight class. This could be a good pull too. Like I said, this Trevor
got to be tired.
Yeah, he went quite a few classes here. He went in the super heavyweight. He went in left-hand heavyweight, left-hand open class. So he's pulling good. He's in the finals every time. We'll see. And Mark's on the A side here. But this could be interesting.
He's scared to cheer these guys on.
Trevor knows what he's got to do. Mark came through like a ton of bricks that time.
Boy, he was right on that go.
Yeah. He knew he had to hit him hard and hit him fast to polish him off, because if he didn't...
You can't give Trevor a chance to come back.
No, Trevor's top arm wrestler, you know. You give this guy the slightest bit of chance.
As we've seen against other competitors today, right. Don't give him a second chance or he'll come back to haunt you.
Yeah. And that's the last thing you want to do, is walk away from a tournament kicking your butt because you made a mistake. You don't mind losing when you just got beat, but when you made a mistake and it cost you the match and, you know, first place or something like that, that hurts. However, like I said, you learn from your mistakes. Right now we've got Greg Harnish and David Senepaw. See what happens here.
Greg's on the A side,
Greg's on the A side. David wants us so bad. And he's pulling good today. But Greg's wrist could be something he hasn't been able to deal with.
Oh.
And we're going to strap them up.
These guys up.
Again, these guys have both got similar techniques.
Both guys going for hand position. Both guys
going for the top roll. Yeah, both going for a top roll. And they've both got real strong wrists. And, you know, people think people are, you know, they don't have very strong hands or anything like that, you know, and that's why they're slipping out. That's not the case at all. It's just a matter of two guys both going for the same type of move, and that's why you end up in these slip outs, is both guys trying to do the exact same thing.
We're not going to have that happen this time.
No, there's no slip out this time. Those straps, I've never seen them break. However, I have seen Greg break a set of leather straps. We used to have leather straps at one time, and Greg and Martin Collins from New Brunswick.
They broke them?
They broke the leather straps.
Ready to go.
And I've never seen that before. And I doubt I'll ever see it again. Just one of those things. And there's Greg. Greg's just too overpowering. In those straps, you can't go anywhere. And
his wrist really comes into play.
Oh, yeah, big time. And when you can't overpower Greg's wrist, you know, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble.
Left-hand lightweight.
Well, we're hitting to the lefties now.
Chris Johnson, B-side, Corey Stone.
Well, we're going to have Chris Johnson and Corey. Corey's got to beat Chris Johnson twice left-handed. Chris has got a good left hand on him. Now he won the middleweight class, Chris did, in the 165-pound class, or at the provincials, the 165-pound class last year at the provincials. And but he didn't pull left hand, I don't believe. And now he's trying his left hand. I want to see how it works, and appears to be working quite well.
So far, we've made it to the finals.
Corey Stone's no slouch with his left hand either. He's been pulling quite a few years, and he's got a good left hand on him. This could be interesting. Corey Stone on the right. No, right there you seen Corey lost his wrist.
Position.
Yeah, and that's all she wrote. Corey made the hit, lost his wrist. Chris's wrist was just a bit too strong for Corey's, and when Corey made his hit, he lost his wrist completely. And again, Chris is in there nice and tight. And when you sit in there like that, you can just wait the other person out.
Well,
it's the finals. Good luck. So right now we got Scott McGinnis going up there. Scott's on the A side, and he's competing against Perry Broom, who's on the B side. Now Perry's watched Scott compete before, knows the way he pulls. He's pulled against him down here at practice before. And this could be interesting. Scott's really got to keep his wits about him, and even though he's given up quite a bit of weight to Perry, Perry's got a good left hand on him. He's won the provincials about 6 or 7 years now, so he's no slouch, although Perry's won it in the 175-pound class. This could be a good match. Perry has a way of coming back off the B side and winning things, so Scott's got to really... And he just got him there. He knew he had to hit him hard and hit him fast. So these guys will be back. So now we'll be moving into the left-hand open class with Mark Stevens and Trevor Senepaw.
Left-hand open
Well, there's what happens when you miss the go.
Yeah, you got to be on to that.
Do you ever? Perry hits so fast.
Trevor's going to have to be
and so hard too.
He does. He hits hard and fast.
Yeah, you got to get up there and you've got to be pressured up and wait for that hit. So right after this match, you'll be back into a rematch with Perry.
Yep. Well, see if I can hear the go this time.
Yeah, this is where you've got to really regroup and think about how he hit you. Right here, we've got Mark just showing his power coming through.
Yeah.
Very easily taking down Trevor.
Yeah, good win for Mark.
Yeah.
Second place.
So now, one match left. And it's between Perry Broom and Scott McGinnis, last match of the day. We'll see how this one goes.
Left-hand heavyweight class.
Scott's got to regroup here and didn't have a lot of time to do it. When you get down into the nitty-gritty, a lot of times you'll have 2 or 3 rematches, so you've got a bit of time. But when you're in the heavyweight of the left-hand class, you don't have much time to recuperate between the last match of the day and your class again. So you come right back again. So Scott's getting up there. He's thinking about what he did wrong. He's got to think about that go, because Perry hits that go dead on. There's no hesitation there at all. A lot of times what makes a big difference too on that those fast goes is you put up a little bit of side pressure, slows the person down some. Perry's getting ready. Scott's trying to get psyched up and wait for that go. No. Oh, Perry's got his number today. And Perry takes the left-hand open class. And that's our last match of the day.
Winner, Perry Broom. Big hand.
That's a tough way.
Give him full credit. Perry is fast off the go.
Yeah, that's right.
Ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's
He's
right.
a lot faster off the go.
Well, we had a good day of arm wrestling here today.
Good tournament this afternoon.
A lot of good competition. You know, he's a top competitors. You know, you got guys like Mark Stevens and David Senepaw and Greg Harnish here. You know, geez, that's tough competition.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about some of the best guys in the country here, and you're going to see that proved when the Nationals come to New Brunswick. You know, they're in Grand Dig in September, the Labor Day weekend. Everybody's just pumped for this. That's what everybody's training for, is to get to the Nationals.
And it should be a great team from Nova Scotia coming out this year.
And I think you may see the team trophy head east for a change.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's never happened. Basically, it's been a battle between either Alberta or Ontario between the team trophies. But we got a lot of guys down here, and actually, because we're so small down here, we get to group up with New Brunswick and PEI. So,
that's great.
Yeah, so size and numbers hopefully will help us bring that team trophy east. And, well, thanks a lot for helping us out here today.
No problems. My pleasure.
And I'd like to thank the Bullseye Pub for having us in here today, and we'll definitely be back here next year.
Thank you. Thanks to Access Cable 10.
For sure. Great job they do here. And from previous experience, you know, they really do us well by showing these tournaments and things like that and help us promote the sport.
Really helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it. Again, thanks to all the competitors. Again, they put on a great show.
That's right.
And thanks to you, Rick.
Thank you.